Greetings, Ben Murray here from San Mateo, California at SaaStr Day 2. Welcome to SaaS Metrics School. So watched a great presentation on day one by Christophe Jans, investor at Point Nine Capital. And he talked about the metrics that matter to investors. And he was specifically addressing really, if you're looking for that Series A round, Series B round, of course, if you're beyond that, you should really have this mastered. Not always the case. But just why this matters. Why does it matter to have clean data and metrics when you're going for that Series A and B raise? And one, just being preemptive. He said you can eliminate 90% of the questions that will come up from investors by having easily consumable data so they can understand the data, so you can have better quality discussions with those potential investors instead of going back and forth about data questions, data quality. We know when they question your data, that really does not help the process. And really, having better data and metrics, easily consumable, just speeds up. You're going to have a faster capital raise process. So it just eliminates a lot of confusion questions so you can have better quality discussions. So a couple things that he looks at when he's looking for metrics from founders. One is a forecast. Of course, we need financial projections. We need to show some historical period, but he likes to see 2 years of forecast. And from that, he can see your revenue streams, your MRR, your ARR, your OPEX profile, which means R&D as a percent, sales and marketing G&A as a percent of revenue, and also just on a gross basis. Can see your cash burn, your cash flow, your cash runway. So a lot of things that investor can take from a nice, clean forecast that's also a reasonable forecast. And these investors are going to look at how you've been trending. And then when you get into that forecast period, does it make sense? Were you growing at 5% month over month? And then all of a sudden that first forecast month, you're growing 20% month over month, right? They're going to question that. And that's something I came up through the ranks of FP&A that I'm always looking at, the actual forecast transition. Do we have any breaks in the data that someone's going to question this forecast? So we need a forecast. You're going to get investors will pull a lot of information from that forecast at a macro level. Next is your MRR waterfall. So your MRR waterfall lays out your beginning balance of MRR plus any new MRR, expansion, contraction, and then churn. Maybe you have a reactivation layer, just depending on your pricing plans, but they want to see that MRR waterfall. And that's key. That's one of those key data reports that we need in our SaaS business that I'm always implementing for SaaS companies. And then next, of course, some of those traditional metrics. So CAC, burn multiple, revenue per FT or ARR per FT. And then also he got into cohort analysis. So looking at retention, gross revenue retention, net revenue retention, also very important in the fundraising process. And then he ended with, of course, pipeline metrics, sales metrics. And of course, that's always needed. Looking at MQLs, SQLs, conversion rates, pipeline conversion from stage to stage. So this is a great presentation. I love this because we implement these metrics for our clients. And also I teach this in my SaaS Metrics Foundation course. So of course, if you would like to learn these metrics from the comfort of your home, listening to this right now, my SaaS Metrics Foundation course launches. It's a 5-week live course plus on demand. So you don't have to make all the live sessions. And then you can learn these metrics that investors are going to be looking for. And not just look as a fire drill that you calculate these quickly, but just part of your financial process. So I love this presentation because at some point, metrics and data do matter, and we've got to put that financial infrastructure in place, that accounting infrastructure that's going to make our life easier as an operator. We need it to operate our business, but also when we start talking to very smart investors. So quick recap from SaaStr. This is day 2. This will go live on day 3, and I'll have some more recaps coming up in the future. Thanks.